Good afternoon and welcome to Wilderspool here at Warrington for this afternoon's vital league match between Warrington and Widnes. Widnes currently top of the First Division. We'll be looking for 2 points today to consolidate that position, whilst Warrington, who are in third place, looking for a vital 2 points to ensure their chances of a place in the top four and thus a home draw in the first round of the Premiership. Today's teams are Warrington, number 1 David Lyon, number 2 Joe Rapati, number 3 Paul Cullen, number 4 Brian Johnson, number 5 Mark Forster, number 6 John Woods, number 7 Martin Crompton, number 8 Kevin Tamati, number 9 Mark Roskell, number 10 Mark Roberts, number 11 Gary Sanderson, number 12 Mike Gregory and number 13 Billy McGinty. And today's substitutes for Warrington are number 14 Barry Peters and number 15 Neil Harmon. For Widnes, at number 1 Duncan Platt, number 2 Rick Thackeray, number 3 Andy Courier, number 4 Darren Wright, number 5 Martin Afire, number 6 Barry Dowd, number 7 David Hume, number 8 is Kurt Sorensen, number 9 Phil McKenzie, number 10 Steve O'Neill, number 11 Mike O'Neill, number 12 Paul Hume, number 13 Richard Ayres. And the substitutes for Widnes today are number 14 Ralph Linton and number 15 Joe Grimmer. This afternoon's referee is Mr Frank Tickle from St Helens. His touch judges Mr Goulding and Mr Walker. So as John Woods prepares to kick off to start this afternoon's game as the rain begins to fall. With Warrington playing from left to right. So it's John Woods to start the game. He kicks it deep into the Widnes half to ex-Warrington player Rick Thackeray. Thackeray now. He's tackled by Mark Roskell and by Mike Gregory. And straight away it's a penalty against Mike Gregory for holding on to Thackeray in the tackle, not allowing him to play the ball. And Barry Dowd puts the ball safely into touch. So it's Phil McKenzie, taps the ball. Dummies to Sorensen, gives it to Steve O'Neill. O'Neill drives up to the halfway line. He's finally tackled by Gary Sanderson and by Mark Roberts. Hume to Mike O'Neill. He's tackled just inside the Warrington half by Billy McGinty. McKenzie on his own from acting halfback. Long ball to Hume, Paul Hume. Paul Hume. Kevin Tamati hanging on grimly there in the tackle before he gets assistance from Brian Johnson. Sorensen back to Dowd. Dowd puts the ball to the touchline and the kick is good. Ball goes into touch 10 yards from the Warrington try line, so the first pressure of the afternoon comes from Widnes. So the first scrum of the afternoon, Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. And Crompton misses it and Hume takes the ball and he's tackled just a yard from the Warrington line. So Widnes on the attack. Platt dummies, goes on his own. He's finally brought down by Mike Gregory and David Lyon. McKenzie on his own from acting halfback. Again, Lyon and Gregory doing the tackling. Platt to Hume to his brother. Sorensen to Dowd. He's tackled by Billy McGinty and by Paul Cullen. Sorensen to David Hume, short ball to Paul Hume. Mark Roskell and Mike Gregory doing the tackle, 6 tackle to Widnes. McKenzie back to Duncan Platt with a drop goal attempt, which is successful. And it's 1 point to Widnes. And Duncan Platt is on his knees at the 25-yard line. And we've played just 3 minutes of the first half and Widnes take an early lead. It's 1-0. The referee has stopped the clock while Duncan Platt receives some attention from the Widnes physio. So it's John Woods to restart the game. Again, puts the ball deep. Again, it's taken by Rick Thackeray. Thackeray straightens up, knocks off Mark Roskell. Now Thackeray comes inside Crompton. Rick Thackeray still going. Finally tackled by Brian Johnson just short of the halfway line. A brilliant break there from Rick Thackeray. Hume goes back the other way to Steve O'Neill. He's tackled again by Brian Johnson and by Kevin Tamati. Mackenzie to Hume. David Hume to his brother Paul. Short ball to Barry Dowd. Dowd takes play inside the Warrington half. Paul Hume to David Hume to Phil Mackenzie. Mackenzie drops it and Mark Roberts falls on it, so Warrington in possession for the first time this afternoon. Roskell to Mike Gregory. He's tackled by Steve O'Neill and by Kurt Sorensen. Roskell runs around Kevin Tamati, gets the ball back, dummies to Martin Crompton. So he's tackled by the O'Neill brothers. Tamati to Crompton. Crompton to McGinty, standing out wide. He's tackled by Richard Ayres, by Paul Hume and by Barry Dowd. Roskell to Crompton on the short side. Crompton with the kick for touch, but the ball goes straight in. So it's a scrum down, and it'll be Widnes' head and ball. And David Hume to put the ball into the scrum. Widnes win the ball. Comes out to Duncan Platt. Platt gets the ball away almost to Darren Wright. It's a knock on. Rules Mr. Tickle as Paul Cullen fell on the ball. Scrum down. David Hume puts the ball in again. The ball's kicked out. It's picked up by Barry Dowd. He's tackled by Kevin Tamati. Courier to Steve O'Neill. O'Neill straightens up. He's met by Gary Sanderson and by Mark Roskell. Mackenzie to David Hume to Paul Hume. Short ball to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill. He's tackled by Mike Gregory. Mackenzie on his own from acting halfback. Inside to Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen gets it back to Paul Hume to Duncan Platt. He's tackled by Mark Roskell. Paul Hume back to Barry Dowd. Dowd again kicking for that far touchline. Will be taken by David Lyon. Lyon playing against his former club. He's tackled by Rick Thackeray and by Andy Courier. Mark Foster attacked in halfback. Goes on his own. Straightens up. Tackled by Steve O'Neill and by Richard Ayres. Roskell to Sanderson. Sanderson to Gregory. He's tackled by Mike O'Neill and by Phil Mackenzie and loses the ball in the tackle, and it comes away to Sorensen. Sorensen straightens up. It's tackled by Billy McGinty and by Paul Cullen. Again, Widnes on the attack. Wright to Dowd. Dowd to David Hume. Straightens up. Short ball to Mike O'Neill. O'Neill away to Paul Hume. Forward pass. Rules Mr. Tickle. Just on the Warrington 25-yard line. Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. Crompton comes away the ball, goes up the blind side, steps inside David Hume, but is tackled by him. Sanderson to Woods. Woods to McGinty. McGinty standing out wide. McGinty almost getting the ball away to Brian Johnson. Woods to Tamati. Tamati, short ball to Roberts. And Roberts loses the ball in the tackle. So it'll be a scrum down. With David Hume once again to put the ball into the scrum. And it's a penalty against Warrington. Lowering the scrum, so it'll be Barry Dowd to attempt to put the ball into touch, which he does safely. So once again, Widnes have the ball in the Warrington 25-yard area. Mackenzie to O'Neill. They break away. Paul Hume, short ball to Richard Ayres. Ayres breaks out to one tackle. He's brought down by McGinty and by Woods. Dowd to David Hume, to Mike O'Neill. O'Neill straightens up, gets the ball back to David Hume. David Hume now, short ball to Sorensen. Sorensen still going. Sorensen still going. David Lyons to beat, gets the ball away to McKenzie. McKenzie loses the ball. And it's a scrum down, the knock on against Phil McKenzie. As Kurt Sorensen launched himself on a run there, broke out of one tackle, tried to slip the ball away to McKenzie. McKenzie just couldn't hold on to the pass. So it's a scrum down with Martin Crompton to feed the ball. And Crompton comes away. Tackled by Richard Ayres and by Paul Hume. Sanderson on his own from acting halfback. Again, Richard Ayres and Paul Hume doing the tackling. Roskell to Woods. Woods to McGinty. He's tackled by the O'Neill brothers. Roskell to Woods. Woods straightens up. He's tackled by Richard Ayres. Warrington using up tackles, trying to break out of the 25. The ball comes back to David Lyon. Kicks it into the Widnes half. And it's picked up eventually by Duncan Platt. Steps back inside, but he's tackled comfortably by Mark Roskell and Mark Roberts. Martin afire at acting halfback. Gets the ball to Barry Dowd. Dowd with the kick back for that far touchline again. David Lyons will get across and cover the ball. Steps inside, but he's tackled by Courier and by Thackeray. Foster from acting halfback on his own again. Mark Foster almost breaking through the tackle there. And it's a penalty against Rick Thackeray for use of the knee on Mark Foster. David Lyon puts the ball safely into touch. And Warrington are 10 yards inside the Widnes half. John Woods will take the tap. On to Roskell. Roskell to Crompton. Woods runs round, misses out Gregory to Roberts out wide. Roberts just couldn't quite slip the ball to John Woods. Sanderson to McGinty. McGinty straightens up. McGinty almost breaks through the tackle of Darren Wright there. Roskell to Gregory. Gregory to Crompton. Crompton to Sanderson. Sanderson is brought down by Steve O'Neill. Woods goes on his own from acting halfback. Dummies is brought down by Barry Dowd, the Widnes standoff. McGinty to Crompton. Crompton short ball to Tamati. Tamati brought down by Steve O'Neill. Six tackle to Warrington. Martin Crompton puts the up and under up. Platt comes for it, takes it safely, and is tackled by Paul Cullen. McKenzie to Dowd. Dowd drives play up to his own 25-yard line. McKenzie. Dummies goes on his own from acting halfback. He's brought down by Mark Roberts and Mark Roskell. David Hume on to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill still going. He's finally brought down by Roberts and Roskell again. McKenzie back to Duncan Platt. Platt puts it down to this near touchline. It's covered by Joe Rapati. Rapati eventually picks it up, straightens up. It's tackled by Darren Wright and by Richard Ayres. Roskell to Gregory. Gregory to Cullen. Cullen inside to Foster. Foster straightens up. Breaks out to one tackle, but is met by Kurt Sorensen and brought down by him. Mike Gregory to Martin Crompton. Crompton misses out Roskell to Sanderson. He's tackled by Richard Ayres. Woods to Tamati. Tamati straightens up. He's brought down by the O'Neill brothers. Roskell back to John Woods. Woods with the kick for this near touchline. And it's dropped by a fire, but the ball goes behind him. He runs around Mark Roskell and Mark Roberts. This is eventually tackled by Roskell and by Cullen. Platt to David Hume, short ball to Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen breaks one tackle, gets the ball away to Courier. Courier steps inside. Courier still going, gets the ball away to David Hume, but forward pass rules Mr. Tickle. The referee was right in line with play. Andy Courier managing to break out of one tackle there. He got away, had Thackeray on the outside, Hume on the inside. Elected to pass to David Hume, but the ball was just ruled forward by the referee. So it'll be a scrum down once again with Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. And again, Warrington win the ball. Crompton to Woods. Woods to Lyons. Lyons kicks the ball deep. O'Fire chasing after it. O'Fire takes it. He's faced by a line of Warrington players and is tackled by Paul Cullen. Platt from acting halfback. Drives play outside of his own 25. He's finally tackled by Reparty and by Woods. Dowd, dummies. Tries to slip the ball away. It's kicked on by Mike O'Neill. Well covered by David Lyons, but O'Neill following up, makes the tackle just inside the Widnes half. Roskell to Tamati. Tamati, dummies to Gregory. This is tackled by Kurt Sorensen. Roskell to Crompton. Crompton to Roberts. He's tackled by Mike and Steve O'Neill. Roskell runs round Woods. Tries to kick it, but it's taken by Mackenzie. Mackenzie now. Mackenzie still going. Takes play up to the Warrington 25. He's finally tackled by David Lyons. David Hume. It's a long ball out to Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen tackled by Foster and Johnson. Platt to Steve O'Neill. He's tackled by Mark Roberts and by Mark Roskell. David Hume goes into acting halfback. Does a run around with his brother who dummies to Dowd. Dowd to Ers on the blind side. Ers, he's tackled by Mark Roberts and Mark Roskell. Steve O'Neill, the kick for touch. Can be a scrum down on the Warrington 25-yard line. Once again, Martin Crompton to put the ball into the scrum. The referee is calling out Steve O'Neill and Kevin Tamati. Deciding that they must be responsible for the scrum collapsing. So Crompton finally gets the ball into the scrum. It's loose arm penalty against Phil Mackenzie and then a further 10 yards for talking back to the referee. And David Lyons puts the ball safely into touch. It'll be Mark Roskell to tap the ball 10 yards inside the Widnes half. Sanderson. He's tackled by Steve O'Neill. Roskell. Misses out Tamati to Gregory, to Woods. Short ball to Roberts. Roberts gets the ball away to Cullen. Cullen loses the ball. It's picked up by Darren Wright, and Wright makes the break. Darren Wright still going. Comes to David Lyon. Brilliant tackle by David Lyon. And Mr. Walker comes onto the field, having seen an infringement. Indicating that one of the Warrington players holding back one of the Widnes players there as Darren Wright made his break. And it'll be a penalty against Joe Reparty for holding. So Barry Dowd with the kick for touch, which is successful. Once again, Widnes on the attack. Mackenzie to David Hume, short ball to Steve O'Neill. O'Neill breaks the tackle of Mark Roberts, but is finally brought down by Billy McGinty. Paul Hume switching to Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen going back, switches again with Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill gets the ball away to brother Steve. Steve O'Neill still going, takes play inside the Warrington 25 before being brought down by the Warrington front row of Tamati, Roskell and Roberts. Mackenzie, dummies, goes on his own inside to David Hume. Hume now with the half break. David Hume inside to his brother Paul. So he's brought down by Gary Sanderson and by Mark Roskell. Mike O'Neill intercepted by John Woods. John Woods now with the break. Woods still going. Tackled by Darren Wright. It's again John Woods, a bit of a speciality now with the interception. It's McGinty. But McGinty loses the ball to Phil Mackenzie, and Widnes are back in possession. McGinty's will play up to the halfway line, but Mackenzie pinched the ball, and it's Widnes once again are in possession now. Mackenzie to David Hume. Does a run around with brother Paul. Short ball to Mike O'Neill. He's tackled by Mark Robertson, by Mark Roskell. Sorensen to Paul Hume, to Barry Dowd. Again, Dowd with the kick for touch, which is successful. So once again, it's a scrum down, midway inside the Warrington half of the field. Crompton puts the ball in. Feeding, says Mr. Tickle. So it's a penalty once again to Widnes. Barry Dowd puts the ball into touch. Some 5 yards inside the Warrington 25. Mackenzie taps it. Dummies to Steve O'Neill. It's switched back inside to Sorensen. He's tackled by Gary Sanderson and Mark Roberts. Barry Dowd to Mike O'Neill. Runs at John Woods. He's tackled by Woods, Johnson and Gregory. Courier goes in, attacked in half-back to David Hume. David Hume. He's tackled by opposite number Martin Crompton. Mackenzie on his own from acting half-back. Phil Mackenzie gets the ball away, but it's picked up by Mike Gregory. And Warrington relieves some of the pressure that they've been under in this past 10 minutes. Roskell runs around Sanderson, misses out Tamati, throws the ball wildly anywhere. It's finally picked up by Brian Johnson. He's well tackled by Andy Courier. Roskell to John Woods. Woods to Gregory. Gregory is tackled by Barry Dowd. Warrington seemingly lacking in ideas at the moment. Roskell back to Lyons. Lyons runs the ball 5 yards and then gets the kick in. It's picked up by Platt. Steps back inside. He's tackled by Mike Gregory. Martin Afire goes on his own from acting halfback. Runs into Mark Roberts and Kevin Tamati. Mackenzie to Steve O'Neill, to Kurt Sorensen. Kurt Sorensen, he's brought down by Paul Cullen. Steve O'Neill to David Hume, to brother Paul, onto Mike O'Neill. So he's tackled by Billy McGinty and by Mike Gregory. Goes back to Duncan Platt, who gets the kick in to this near touch line, which just bounces out of touch into the Warrington in-goal area. It's picked up by David Lyon. Lyon onto Rapati. Rapati. He's met with a high tackle there against Steve O'Neill. The Warrington crowd down at the Fletcher end there not very happy and advising Mr. Tickle what he should do. This time Steve O'Neill gets away with a warning from the referee Frank Tickle. And David Lyons puts the ball safely into touch. And Roskell takes the tap. Dummies to McGinty onto Tamati. Tamati He's brought down by Mike O'Neill and by Paul Hume. Roskell to Mike Gregory. Gregory dummies, straightens up. He's tackled by Steve O'Neill and by Richard Ayres. Woods to Sanderson. Sanderson is tackled by Richard Ayres. Roskell to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Misses out Gregory to Roberts. Roberts. Good run in there from Mark Roberts. Takes play inside the Widnes half. Roskell to Woods. Woods. The kick for this near touchline. Fire races back. Keeps the ball in field and picks it up safely. He's then met by Paul Cullen, by Billy McGinty. On comes Mr. Walker. And I think it's going to be again a penalty against Billy McGinty. It's a penalty against Billy McGinty for use of the knee in the tackle. And once again, Barry Dow puts the ball safely into touch. Phil McKenzie taps the ball to Kurt Sorensen up the blind side. He's tackled by fellow Kiwis, Kevin Tamati, and by Joe Rapati. The ball comes loose, it's picked up by a Fire, onto Darren Wright. Wright is tackled by Roskell and by Roberts. McKenzie to Paul Hume, he straightens up. He's tackled by Billy McGinty and by Kevin Tamati. Goes to Barry Dowd, he dummies, straightens up. He's tackled by Tamati and by Sanderson. McKenzie goes on his own from acting halfback. Gets it to Duncan Platt. He's well tackled by Mike Gregory and by Paul Cullen. O'Neill to Dowd. Dowd steps inside Gregory. Puts in the kick. Rapati chases back, but will be met by Lyons. Lyons. He's tackled by Ayres and by O'Neill. Woods. Cullen misses it. Johnson misses it. It goes to Foster. Foster steps inside Courier. It's tackled by Thackeray. Sanderson steps inside. He's met solidly by Steve O'Neill and by Rick Thackeray. Roskell to Tamati. Tamati drives up the blind side. Loses the ball and it's a knock-on. Be a scrum down midway inside the Warrington half. David Hume to put the ball in. David Hume onto Barry Dowd. Switches play to Darren Wright, coming inside. Wright still going. Gets the ball away to Courier. Courier in a race for the line. Scores under the post. It was a well-worked try by Widnes there from the scrum. Widnes won the scrum. David Hume got the ball out to Barry Dowd. Barry Dowd gave the ball to Wright, coming inside from his position at left centre. Wright made the initial break, took play up to the Warrington fullback David Lyon, had Andy Courier in support. And it was an easy run in there for Andy Courier. Wanted taking the pass from Darren Wright. Courier scoring under the post to make the conversion somewhat of a formality for Duncan Platt. So we've played 28 minutes of the first half and Widnes scored the first try of the afternoon. Duncan Platt with a conversion attempt, which is successful. So with 28 minutes of the first half gone, the score now is Warrington 0, Widnes 7. So it'll be John Woods to restart the game. Once again, the kick goes deep. And again, it's fielded by Rick Thackeray. And this time he's met solidly by Mike Gregory and by Gary Sanderson. Mackenzie onto Paul Hume. Hume runs straight at Mark Roberts and is tackled by him with the help of Mark Roskell. Mackenzie to Mike O'Neill. He takes play up to the 25-yard line. Phil Mackenzie. Short ball to Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen, strong run there. Finally tackled by Paul Cullen. Platt with the kick. Puts it deep down to David Lyons, who takes it safely. Lyons runs across field, but he's tackled by Mike O'Neill and by David Hume. Mike Gregory onto John Woods. Woods to Rapati, coming over from the right wing. Rapati. So he's tackled by Paul Hume and by Barry Dowd. Roskell up the short side to Tamati. So he's well tackled by Andy Courier. Roskell to Gregory. Gregory to Woods. Woods short ball to Sanderson. Sanderson beats one tackle. So he's finally brought down by Sorensen, just short of the halfway line. John Woods to Mike Gregory. Gregory. Ball to Brian Johnson. Johnson makes a half break onto Cullen. Cullen now has got Rapati with him. Rapati comes inside. Rapati still going, gets it to Mike Gregory. Gregory still going. Mike Gregory. It's 10 yards now from the Widnes try line. Warrington with their first real attack of the afternoon. Comes to Cullen. Cullen to Woods. Woods, long ball to Foster. Foster picks it up, tries to put the up and under up, but the ball goes straight dead. It was a good ball from Mike Gregory to Brian Johnson just inside the Warrington half. Johnson made enough of a break to get the ball away to Cullen. Cullen launched Rapati on a run to set Warrington up just 10 yards from the Widnes try line. But the kick from Foster went straight dead. So it's Mike O'Neill now. Mackenzie onto Paul Hume. Paul Hume to David Hume. To Sorensen. Sorensen straightens up, runs at Brian Johnson, breaks out to one tackle. Sorensen still going. Kurt Sorensen gets the ball to Barry Dowd now. Barry Dowd to Martin Afire. Afire. It's tackled by Rapati, loses the ball. It's picked up by Barry Dowd, but the referee rules it to be a knock-on. It's a rampaging run there from Kurt Sorensen. Crompton comes up with the ball from the scrum, slips and is tackled by David Hume. Woods to Gregory. It's tackled by Barry Dowd. Billy McGinty on his own from acting halfback. He's tackled by Mike O'Neill. McGinty gets up, plays the ball to Roskell. Woods to Roberts. Again, Roberts running hard there. Takes play to just inside the Widnes half of the field. Roskell to Woods. Woods. It's the sixth tackle to Warrington. Goes back to Crompton. Crompton dummies. Slips the ball away to McGinty. McGinty with the kick for touch, which is successful. So scrum down on the Widnes 25. David Hume. The ball's won by Warrington there, and Martin Crompton has the ball. So Warrington with just 7 minutes of the first half left. The Widnes 25. Gregory straightens up, but nobody running off him at all. Woods to Tamati. Tamati drives play up, throws the ball back, but it goes really anywhere, but it's picked up by David Lyon. Lyon. He's tackled by Paul Hume. Warrington not really supporting the man with the ball at the moment. Crompton to Woods. Woods Short ball to Roberts, but Roberts loses it, and it's taken by David Hume. Courier goes on his own from Acton halfback, gets the ball to Afire. Afire, dummies, runs into Billy McGinty and Mike Gregory. Mackenzie to David Hume. He straightens up. He's tackled by Kevin Tamati and by Mark Roskell. Mackenzie with the kick, but that goes straight into touch. So it's a scrum down on the Widnes 25. Martin Crompton's put the ball in. And it's a penalty against Widnes for foot up. Crompton. And Warrington don't appear to, because though they know what to do. Eventually the ball is given to David Lyon. Puts the ball into touch. 15 yards now from the Widnes try line. Roskell taps it to Tamati. Tamati drives play up. Takes the ball another 5 yards before tackle by Sorensen. Roskell on to McGinty. McGinty. He takes play to 5 yards from the Widnes try line now. Roskell. Dummies to Gregory. To Crompton. Crompton. He's tackled by David Hume. Roskell to Woods. Woods misses it. It's picked up by Rapati. Rapati beats one man. Straightens up. He's tackled by Phil Mackenzie. 10 yards from the Widnes try line now. Sanderson to Tamati. Tamati to Woods. This is out Roskell to Roberts. Roberts straightens up. Gets the ball back to John Woods. John Woods goes inside. He's tackled by Mike O'Neill and by Kurt Sorensen. 6th tackle to Warrington. Roskell to Crompton. Crompton with the kick for the try line. Foster takes it on. It's knocked out of his hands by Andy Courier. And the referee ruled it to be a knock-on. But it was punched out of Mark Foster's hands there by Andy Courier. Foster only had to hold on to it. It was a good kick from Martin Crompton. And it would have been a certain try for Foster had he held on to that ball. It's a scrum down, some 7 yards from the Widnes try line. Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. McGinty takes it. McGinty. So Warrington once again on the attack. 4 minutes to half time. Gregory runs around Crompton. Dummies. Throws the ball anywhere really, but Woods picks it. It goes back to Johnson. Johnson loses it. And it's picked up by Darren Wright. Courier. Courier still going. So he's finally tackled by Woods and by Roskell. There's a good attacking position lost by Warrington there. Mike O'Neill, he's tackled by Gary Sanderson and by Mark Roskell. Steve O'Neill. Mackenzie attacked in halfback. Back to Duncan Platt. Platt once again with the kick. Puts it deep into the Warrington half. David Lyons. Dummies. It's finally tackled by Kurt Sorensen, by David Hume, by Mike O'Neill. Roskell to Crompton. Crompton to McGinty. McGinty to Johnson. Johnson tries to run round Courier, but Courier manages to bring Johnson down. Foster to Cullen. Cullen to Tamati. Tamati. He's tackled by Paul Hume. Dowd manages to pinch the ball. It's kicked on by Cullen, picked up by Thackeray. Richard Ayres. Mackenzie to Steve O'Neill. He's tackled by Tamati and by Sanderson. Mackenzie to David Hume, runs around. He's tackled by Mark Roberts and by John Woods. Mackenzie to Duncan Platt. Shapes up as though he's going to kick. It is tackled by Mike Gregory. Mackenzie, it's kicked on by Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory in a chase after it now with Paul Hume. Hume picks it up well. It is well tackled by Mike Gregory. There's good covering there from Paul Hume. A fire beats one man, gets the ball away to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill. He's tackled by John Woods. Courier to Steve O'Neill. Drives up the blind side. He's tackled by John Woods. Mike O'Neill to David Hume. Inside to Richard Ayres. He's well tackled by Kevin Tamati. Mackenzie on his own from acting halfback. Inside to Tamati. Play on, says the referee. McGinty to Roskell. Roskell runs around with Sanderson to Crompton. Crompton goes on his own. Gets the ball away to Gary Sanderson. On to Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory. Finally tackled there by Phil Mackenzie. Paul Cullen attacked in half-back. On to Gary Sanderson. Misses out Mark Roskell to Billy McGinty. McGinty straightens up. Half break there for McGinty, but once again nobody on his shoulder to take the pass. Roskell to Woods. Woods to Roberts. Roberts. Tackled by Barry Dowd. Woods to Crompton. Woods on the run round to Roskell. Roskell tries to chip it through, but it's picked up by Paul Hume. Sorensen to David Hume. Runs round Mark Roberts. It's finally tackled by Roberts. Sorensen. Sorensen still going. As we enter injury time now, the first half, the score Warrington 0, Widnes 7 still. Sorensen plays the ball to Mackenzie. On to Steve O'Neill. He's tackled by Roskell and by McGinty. Mackenzie to Barry Dowd. Dowd with the kick for touch, which is successful once again, and that really has been a feature of this first half, is the touch kicking of Barry Dowd. It's put Warrington under quite some pressure. Hume feeds the scrum. And they win the ball. It comes to Dowd. Dowd dummies, goes on his own. And there goes the half-time hooter, the end of the first half, which has seen Widnes in the lead by 7 points to 0, thanks to a drop goal conversion by Duncan Platt and a try under the post from Andy Courier. Warrington will soon have to have further ideas on attacking play in the second half. They don't seem to be backing one another up as they did at Salford last week. So the half-time score is Warrington 0, Widnes 7. So as Warrington come out for the start of the second half, we made a substitution at half-time. Barry Peters has come on the field. It would appear that Gary Sanderson has gone off. So Warrington will have made the same switch as the successful one made at Salford last week, with Peters coming in at the centre, Brian Johnson moving on to the right wing, and Joe Rapati will be going into the pack at second row. Widnes take the field with the same 13 as finished the first half. It'll be Duncan Platt to start the second half. So Platt puts the ball deep. Comes to Billy McGinty, who takes it safely. Hands on to Mark Foster. Forster straightens up. He's met strongly by Kurt Sorensen and by Stephen Neal. Roskell to Gregory. Gregory gets the ball away to Mark Roskell. Roskell comes back inside. Roskell makes a break. Hands on to Mike Gregory. Mike Gregory now has got Paul Cullen outside. Cullen takes the ball. He's just tackled by Darren Wright before he was able to slip the ball away to Brian Johnson. A brilliant break by Mark Roskell, well backed up by his captain Mike Gregory. Comes out to Crompton. Woods onto Roskell again. Roskell misses out Rapati to Peters. Peters dummies, goes back inside. Peters still going. So Warrington in 2 tackles have come almost the full length of the field, but it's a knock on in the tackle. Mark Roskell, who sidestepped into the gap, made the break, took play up to almost on the halfway line, handed on to Mike Gregory, who ran a further 20 yards, handed on to Cullen. Cullen just couldn't quite get the ball out to Brian Johnson before he was brought down. Mike Gregory appears to have taken the knock after that blistering run. In the meantime, Widnes have won the scrum. It's David Hume who has the ball. Paul Hume attacked in half-back, on to Richard Ayres. Ayres. He's tackled by Robertson, by McGinty. Mackenzie. Onto Mike O'Neill. O'Neill breaks out of the tackler of Rapati, but he's brought down by John Woods. Mike Gregory still receiving attention there. Mackenzie. Back to Duncan Platt. Platt gets in his kick. It's eventually taken by David Lyons. It's well followed up by Darren Wright and by Martin Afire, but it's a penalty against Darren Wright for dragging Dave Lyons towards the touchline. So Lyons with the kick to touch, which is successful. Roskell to Tamati. Roskell runs round, on hands on to McGinty. Roskell to Tamati. Tamati drives play towards the halfway line. It's finally tackled by Mike O'Neill and by Paul Hume. Crompton switches play. Misses out Roberts. And it's play on, says the referee, as Darren Wright made the second fumble after Rapati had missed the ball. So Warrington, 6 more tackles. Roskell to Crompton to Woods. Woods. McGinty goes on his own from Acton halfback. Drives play on. Held 6 tackles, says Mr. Tickle. Goes back to John Woods. Woods with the up and under. Taken safely by Barry Dowd. And he's tackled by Barry Peters, following up the kicker John Woods. Paul Hume. He's tackled by Roskell and McGinty. Mackenzie to Stephen Neal. Welcome back to Barry Dowd, who kicks for this near touchline. Lyons takes the ball. Takes on Thackeray and Courier, but is tackled by them both. Barry Peters goes in attacked in half-back. Hands on to Mark Foster. Foster runs across field, finally straightens up and is tackled by Stephen Neal. Crompton. Martin Crompton spots the gap and races through it. Tries to get the ball to Roskell, but Roskell knocks on. We're scrum down just inside the Widnes half. Ball comes straight out of the scrum. It'll be David Hume to put the ball in once more. And again, Widnes win the ball. And Dowd kicks deep, presumably for Martin Afire to chase, but Brian Johnson will get there first. Johnson takes it safely. He's tackled just short of his own try line by a fire. Lyons, he's tackled by Darren Wright. Gregory to McGinty. McGinty now gets the ball away to Barry Peters. Peters, he's tackled by Thackeray. Mike Gregory. He's tackled by Steve O'Neill and by Paul Hume. Roskell to Woods. Woods to Tamati. Tamati. And it's the sixth tackle to Warrington. Roskell to Woods. Woods gets in the kick. It's taken safely by Duncan Platt. He's comfortably tackled by Mark Roberts and by John Woods. Mackenzie onto Mike O'Neill. O'Neill comes back inside. Knocks off Mike Gregory now. Mackenzie. O'Neill. It's tackled just short of the Warrington 25. Mackenzie attacked in half-back. Switches it blind to Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen gets the ball to Courier. Courier gets the ball away to Thackeray. Thackeray in a run for the line. Goes inside Rick Thackeray. Thackeray for the line. Thackeray scores. A brilliant try by Rick Thackeray. It was taken up by Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen managed to slip the ball to Andy Courier. Courier got the way to Thackeray. Thackeray had some space initially, but he still had a lot of work to do as he stepped inside, beat David Lyons, the full back, and raced to the try line before Kevin Tamati could get to him. A brilliant try by Rick Thackeray against his former club. And we've played 9 minutes of the second half, and with the conversion yet to come, the score is Warrington 0, Widnes now 11. So Warrington seem to have all sorts of problems at the moment. Neil Harmon is warming up on the far side. It would appear that Mike Gregory is the man to come off. So Duncan Platt with the conversion attempt. Which is successful, so the score now is Warrington 0, Widnes 13. As Mike Gregory leaves the field with what appears to be a shoulder injury, Neil Harmon coming on. So Warrington now with a lot of work to do to claw this Widnes lead back. And really, Warrington haven't looked like scoring at all so far. As Martin Afire traps it with his foot, picks it up. He's tackled by Roskell and McGinty. Mackenzie to Steve O'Neill. O'Neill. He's tackled by Roskell and Harmon. Mackenzie, the blind side to Paul Hume, to Darren Wright. He's well tackled by Brian Johnson. Mackenzie, long ball out to Sorensen. Sorensen, dummies, tackled by Roberts. Mackenzie, back to Barry Dowd. Dowd with the kick. It's straight to David Lyons. David Lyons now. He's tackled comfortably by Paul Hume. Crompton to Foster. Foster comes in from his wing. Runs across field, straightens up. It's tackled by Richard Ayres. Cullen to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods on to McGinty. It's all the Warrington players taking the ball, standing still there. No depth at all to the line. And it's offside against Steve O'Neill. So a chance for David Lyon to put the ball deep into Widnes territory and give Warrington a good platform now for the first real attack of this second half. Goes in just inside the Widnes 25. Roskell on to Tamati. Tamati drives the ball up. Roskell onto Harmon, but Harmon loses the ball and it's picked up by Paul Hume. Mackenzie inside, Stephen Neal slips, but it's recovered by Duncan Platt. He's tackled by Billy McGinty. Mackenzie to Stephen Neal, and Neal dummies. It's tackled by Roskell and by Harmon. Micah Neal. Mackenzie back to Platt. Platt. So again, it's straight to David Lyon. Lyon runs across field, slips it inside to Foster. Foster tries to straighten up, but runs straight up to David Hume. Roskell to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods long ball out to Cullen. Cullen inside to Johnson. Johnson stops. It's tackled by Darren Wright. Cullen runs round John Woods. Short ball to Roberts. Tips Roberts on the head. Bounces through to Duncan Platt. Platt gets the ball away to David Hume. Hume still going. Hume still going. It slips and is tackled by Mark Foster and by Barry Peters. Sorensen gets the ball away to Barry Dowd. Dowd slips it to Hume. Hume onto Ers. Ers. Richard Ers still going. Gets the ball away to Paul Hume. Has got Martin Afire outside. Afire in a race for the line. He's got the legs of David Lyon. And Martin Afire goes over for the try that breaks the Widnes try scoring record. It was brilliantly set up by, first of all, Paul Hume, who got the ball away to Richard Ers. Then Richard Ers slipped the ball out. Martin Afire was on hand to take the pass. He still had David Lyons to beat, but his pace did the rest for him. And we've played 14 minutes of the second half now, and with the conversion attempt still to come, the score now is Warrington 0, Widnes 17. And the conversion is successful from Duncan Platt, so the score moves on to Warrington 0, Widnes 19. With the news that Wigan are beating St Helens at Knowsley Road at half-time 6-2. It's going to set up a very interesting clash on Monday between Widnes and St Helens. In the meantime, Warrington and all sorts of problems here. The ball's kicked straight to Afire once again. Takes the ball safely. This time he's met solidly by Mark Roberts. Stephen Neal. He's tackled by Billy McGinty. Mackenzie to Micah Neal. Neal just brought down by Mark Roberts. And Roberts is penalised for not allowing Micah Neal to play the ball. So it's Barry Dowd to put the ball into touch, which he does safely. David Hume onto Kurt Sorensen. Sorensen slips the ball to David Hume, takes it well. Kurt Sorensen, an inspiring captain for Widnes today. Barry Dowd onto Micah Neal. He's well tackled by Billy McGinty. Mackenzie on his own from acting halfback. Mackenzie slips the ball away to Afire now. Afire gets the ball inside to Paul Hume. Paul Hume goes over for the try. The Warrington cover were thinking that Afire was going to take them on the outside. Instead, he managed to slip a beautiful ball inside to Paul Hume, who was backing up, and Paul Hume did the rest. And Widnes beginning to run riot now. It was Mackenzie who dummied attacked in half-back, went on his own up the blind side, slipped a beautiful pass out to Martin Afire on the wing. Afire went across, the cover was racing across there, expecting Afire to try and make the corner. Instead he slipped the ball inside to Paul Hume, who was backing up, and Hume did the rest. So with the conversion attempt still to come, the score now, Warrington 0, Widnes 23. As Kurt Sorensen leaves the field on the far side, he will be replaced by Joe Grimmer once the conversion has been taken by Duncan Platt. And he pushes it just across the face of the post. So with 18 minutes of the second half gone, the score remains Warrington 0, Widnes 23. Warrington have got all sorts of problems now. They've lost captain Mike Gregory with a shoulder injury and are really lacking in ideas when they have got possession. Well, it's a long time since they've actually had the ball in their hands. Afire takes the ball 15 yards before being tackled by Robertson McGinty. Stephen Neal. It's again Billy McGinty doing the tackling. Dowd, short ball to Grimmer, his first touch of the ball. So he's tackled by Joe Rapati. Mackenzie again on his own from acting half-back. Dummies still going, Phil Mackenzie. Mike O'Neill, back to Barry Dowd. Dowd this time with the chip, but well covered by Crompton. But it's to be a penalty against Billy McGinty. And a further 10 yards for talking by Joe Rapati. So Widnes have the penalty. Barry Dowd to try and put the ball into touch. And that's a good kick from Dowd. Puts the ball just 10 yards, 15 yards now from the Warrington try line. Mackenzie with the tap. On to David Hume. Inside to Grimmer. Grimmer. He's tackled by Joe Rapati. Mackenzie inside to Stephen Neal. Again Rapati doing the tackling. Mackenzie to David Hume, to Paul Hume. Dummies to Dowd. Dowd, short ball to Ers. Ers tries to get the ball away. Goes to ground, it's picked up by Afire. Afire slips the ball inside. The ball still being kept alive by Widnes. Mackenzie, a brilliant ball to Paul Hume. Hume scores again. Brilliant rugby from Widnes. The ball must have been on the ground 2 or 3 times in that movement, but they managed to keep the ball alive. Afire looked to be tackled into touch. He slipped the ball back inside. It eventually came to Phil Mackenzie. Mackenzie made a dart for the line. He was tackled, but he slipped a beautiful pass out to Paul Hume, once again backing up. And again, Hume went over for the try. We've played just 21 minutes of the second half. The score now, Warrington 0, Widnes 27. And it's Duncan Platt with the conversion attempt. And is successful, so the score Warrington 0, Widnes 29. So John Woods restarts the game. Again, he puts the ball deep. This time it's taken by Barry Dowd. Dowd takes play up to the 25. On comes Mr. Walker, thinking it's going to be a penalty against Joe Rapati. And it's Barry Dowd to put the ball into touch. Warrington starting to concede a lot of penalties now. so that Widnes have been able to keep possession for long periods. Grimmer tackled by Rapati. Plays the ball to Mackenzie, on to David Hume, to Mike O'Neill. O'Neill steps back inside. He's tackled by Billy McGinty. Mackenzie to David Hume, on to Richard Ayres. Ayres ducks under the tackle of Cullen, but he's brought down by Kevin Tamati. Mackenzie, dummies, short ball to Mike O'Neill. O'Neill stops. He's tackled by Mark Roberts. Mackenzie back to Barry Dowd. Dowd with the kick for this near touch line, and it's the roll of the ball takes it into touch, and really everything at the moment going Widnes' way. It'll be a scrum down 10 yards from the Warrington try line. Be Martin Crompton to... Oh, it must have come off a Warrington player, because David Hume puts the ball in, goes on his own up the blind side. It is met by Billy McGinty. Thackeray goes on his own. He's tackled by Martin Crompton, Mark Roskell and Neil Harmon. Mackenzie to David Hume, to Paul Hume. Evades the tackle of Joe Rapati. This is brought down by Kevin Tamati. Mackenzie on his own from acting halfback to David Hume. Hume tackled by John Woods. Mackenzie again slips the ball inside to Steve O'Neill, to Richard Ayres, to Darren Wright. Good tackle from David Lyon. 6th tackle to Widnes now. Back to Barry Dowd, the kick is for the line, it goes to Mark Foster, takes it well now. Foster, some room in which to run, takes on Rick Thackeray, but he's well tackled by Thackeray. Thackeray kicks the ball, they play the ball. She's picked up by Mark Roskell. Roskell, a good clearing run there from Roskell before being tackled by Andy Courier. Foster to Crompton, to substitute Neil Harmon. Harmon slips it to Roskell. Roskell gets it out to Woods. On to Roberts. Roberts loses it, and Mackenzie picks the ball up. That's really been the story of Warrington's play this afternoon. The inability really to hold the ball for long periods. David Hume. David Hume still going now. David Hume for the line. David Hume has got David Lyons to beat. Gets the ball inside. It comes off Foster. Peters tries to clear his line, but he's tackled by Andy Courier. And it'll be a restart under the posts. John Woods restarts the game under the posts. Comes to Paul Hume. Hume takes it. Dummies. Takes on Paul Cullen. Slips the ball inside. But it's picked up by Brian Johnson now. Johnson still going. Runs across field, but he's tackled by Duncan Platt. Woods to Tamati. Woods on the run round. Straightens up. John Woods gets the ball away to Crompton. Play on, says Mr. Tickle. Crompton still going. Inside to Barry Peters, on to Mark Roskell. This is better from Warrington. It's on the Widnes 25 now. Warrington. Tamati. The ball once again goes to ground. It's picked up by Peters. But again it goes to ground. Crompton is in an offside position and it's taken by Steve O'Neill. And it's offside against Warrington. And really Warrington are just making life difficult for themselves as the slow hand clap rings around the ground. And it's Barry Dowd who puts the ball safely into touch. 10 yards inside the Warrington half of the field. David Hume misses Steve O'Neill to Paul Hume, to Richard Ayres running out wide. So he's tackled by Billy McGinty and by John Woods. Dowd to Paul Hume, to David Hume. He's tackled by Kevin Tamati and by Mark Roberts, the two Warrington props. McKenzie with the chip for Thackeray to chase. But it bounces kindly for David Lyon, and he takes it well. Foster on his own from acting halfback, runs across field, straightens up. So he's tackled by Mike O'Neill. Roskell to Roberts. Roberts straightens up. So he's just tackled by Paul Hume. Roskell to Woods. Woods to Harmon. Harmon straightens up. Good driving tackle from Richard Ayres. Comes back to John Woods, on to Martin Crompton. To Joe Rapati. Rapati on to Peters. Peters on to Crompton. Crompton back inside to Rapati. Rapati still going. Rapati just couldn't quite slip the ball away. 6 tackle to Warrington. Goes to Billy McGinty. McGinty with the kick for touch, which is successful, so it will be a scrum down. David Humes put the ball into the scrum. And Widnes again win the scrum. It goes to Duncan Platt. Platt. And it's a kick and chase for Martin Afire. But David Lyons is going to be first to the ball. And he's tackled by Darren Wright. Johnson, dummies at the acting halfback. Takes play to just inside the Widnes half of the field. Lyons to Woods. Woods on to Roberts. Roberts dummies, goes on his own. He's tackled by Mike O'Neill. Roskell to Cullen. Cullen out to Tamati. Tamati. He's brought down by Phil McKenzie. Crompton runs around Roskell. Misses out Harmon to Woods. Woods straightens up. John Woods still going. Good break from John Woods there. He's tackled by Barry Dowd. 6 tackle to Warrington. John Woods throws a punch on Barry Dowd. It'll be a penalty against John Woods. And it's Barry Dowd, puts the ball safely into touch. As there's 10 minutes to play now and the score still Warrington 0, Widnes 29. His play is held up, just wait for a ball. It'll be Phil McKenzie to restart the game. On Grimmer loses it, Cullen kicks on. The fire misses, it's picked up by Brian Johnson. So Warrington are back in possession. Roskell to Tamati, Tamati to Crompton, Crompton to Woods, Woods to Roberts. Roberts straightens up and goes through the gap. Mark Roberts in a run for the line now. Roberts inside to McGinty. McGinty takes the pass and goes over for the try. It's a good ball from John Woods to Mark Roberts. Roberts went through the gap, made his way into the Widnes 25. Billy McGinty backed up well, took the pass well, and went under the post, or just to the left of the post, giving John Woods what should be an easy conversion. Woods adds the 2 points. So with 9 minutes to go, the score now is Warrington 6, Widnes 29. So Duncan Platt to restart the game. And it's knocked on by Mark Foster. So we're scrum down, 10 yards from the Warrington try line. Feed in against David Hume. It'll be a penalty to Warrington. David Lyon puts the ball safely into touch. Roskell onto Tamati. Tamati onto Harmon. Harmon is tackled by Mike O'Neill and by Joe Grimmer. Roskell to Tamati. Tamati misses out Woods to Roberts again, trying to get Roberts going on a run. But he's caught on the halfway line by Paul Hume. Woods to Tamati. Tamati loses the ball and it's knocked on by Phil McKenzie. Martin Crompton to put the ball into the scrum. Warrington win the scrum. Crompton, he's tackled on the blind side by Richard Ayres. Woods to Lyon, coming into the line, onto Paul Cullen. Cullen running across field, inside to Foster. Foster's well tackled by Darren Wright. But it's knocked on by Barry Peters. Hume takes the ball safely, is tackled by Martin Crompton. Barry Dowd onto Richard Ayres. Ayres is tackled by Crompton and by Harmon. McKenzie onto Grimmer. Grimmer knocks off McGinty, gets the ball back to McKenzie. McKenzie dummies, manages to get the ball away to Ayres. Ayres loses it though, it's picked up by Rapati. Rapati loses it, it's picked up by Platt. Play on, says the referee. Duncan Platt now comes back inside. He's finally tackled by Barry Peters and by Billy McGinty. Hume to Dowd. Dowd dummies, goes back inside, gets the ball to McKenzie. McKenzie gets the ball out to Darren Wright. Wright, he's finally tackled by Paul Cullen. McKenzie up the blind side to Grimmer. Grimmer beats off one challenge, finally brought down by Billy McGinty. McKenzie up the blind side again on his own, throws the ball back inside, it's kicked on by Grimmer to Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill straightens up. A fire onto David Hume, to Barry Dowd. Dowd dummies, still going. Barry Dowd onto Steve O'Neill. O'Neill puts the kick in for touch, which is successful. Will be a scrum down just 5 yards from the Warrington try line. Martin Crompton to feed the scrum. So Crompton to put the ball into the scrum. Warrington win it. Crompton is tackled by David Hume. McGinty. He's tackled by Barry Dowd and by Mike O'Neill. Mark Roskell to Kevin Tamati. Tamati, short ball to Cullen. Cullen, he's well tackled by Darren Wright. Tamati goes on his own from acting halfback. He's tackled by Paul Hume, by Mike O'Neill. Goes to John Woods. Woods to Roberts. Roberts into the gap once again, but he's well tackled by Richard Ayres. 6 tackle to Warrington. Goes to John Woods, to Joe Rapati. Rapati out to Johnson. Johnson kicks it back in field. And Peters is onside. Barry Peters is onside, says the referee. Peters picks it up, but he's tackled. So it'll be the turnover to Widnes. Courier on his own. Courier still going. Courier still going. Courier to just inside the Warrington half. Andy Courier. Good clearing run there. Mackenzie to Grimmer. Grimmer gets the ball back. It's picked up by Courier once again. Gets it out to Mike O'Neill. O'Neill dummies. He's met by Mark Roberts. Manages to get the ball back to Paul Hume. Hume. So he's finally tackled by Mark Roskell and by Neil Harmon. Grimmer. Away to Mackenzie. Mackenzie now on a break. Mackenzie still going. He's just brought down by Martin Crompton. A fire to Richard Ayres. To Steve O'Neill. O'Neill stops, goes back the other way, but he's tackled by Mark Roskell and by Billy McGinty. Dowd for that far touchline. And the kick is successful. The Warrington man of the match has just announced, and it's fullback David Lyons. As Martin Crompton feeds the scrum, and it's a loose arm decision against Phil Mackenzie. That's a penalty to Warrington. Lyons puts the ball safely into touch. Roskell to take the tap. Onto Tamati. Tamati onto Woods. Woods to Rapati. Rapati to Cullen. Cullen to Peters. Peters is bundled to the ground by Andy Courier. Rapati to McGinty. McGinty. He's tackled by Joe Grimmer. As we enter the last minute of play now. Tamati. Short ball to Cullen. Cullen gets it back inside to Crompton. Crompton straightens up now. Crompton through the gap. Inside to Cullen, but Woods to Rapati. Rapati to Johnson. Johnson, but he's bundled into touch by Martin Afire. It'll be a scrum down with David Hume to feed the scrum. And Widnes win the scrum. Dowd once again kicks for Afire. It's Afire to chase. Afire and Johnson. It's Afire and Johnson, and Afire has got the legs on Brian Johnson. Kicks the ball over the line. A try for Martin Afire. Widnes have been looking to employ that move all afternoon. It's the third time they've kicked it deep for Martin Afire. This time it was successful. It was a good deep kick. It was a chase then between Brian Johnson and Martin Afire, and Afire had the legs on Johnson. He tapped the ball over the line and just had to fall on it. Martin Afire goes over for his second try of the afternoon. We've played 30 seconds of injury time. The score moving on to Warrington 6, Widnes 33. With the conversion attempt from Duncan Platt still to come. Platt is successful with the kick. And the score now becomes Warrington 6, Widnes 35. As we play injury time at the moment. Warrington in no great hurry to restart the game. And it goes through to Richard Ayres. Ayres takes the tackle, and there goes the final hooter. So after today's championship match between Warrington and Widnes, Warrington 6, Widnes 35, Widnes can go on to Monday with great hopes now of lifting the championship. And Warrington must really depend on other results this afternoon to see whether or not they'll finish in the top four, thus securing a home draw in the first round of the Premiership. So this afternoon's score is Warrington 6, Widnes 35. Good afternoon and welcome to Hilton Park, Lee, for today's Stones bitter clash between Lee and Warrington. Lee, who are struggling at the bottom of the First Division, will be looking for 2 points in their bid to ensure First Division football next season, whilst Warrington will be looking to put in a good performance after last Friday's rather disappointing show against Widnes at Wilderspool. Today's sides for Lee: number 1, Chris Johnson; number 2, Neil McCulloch; number 3, John Kerr; number 4, Ian Jeffrey; number 5, Mike Round; number 6, David Ruane; number 7, Steve Peters; number 8, Adrian Erner; number 9, Carl Webb; number 10, Tony Cottrell; number 11, Brian Dunn; number 12, Andy Collier; number 13, Harry Pinner. The substitutes for Lee today are number 14, Phil Johnson; number 15, Mark Cooper. Warrington, number 1, David Lyon; number 2, Joe Rapati; number 3, Paul Cullen; number 4, Barry Peters; number 5, Mark Foster; number 6 is John Woods; number 7, Martin Crompton; number 8, Kevin Tamati; number 9, John Thursfield, making his debut today; number 10, Tony Humphreys; number 11, Gary Sanderson; number 12, Mark Knight; and number 13, Billy McGinty. Today's substitutes for Warrington are number 14, Robert Turner; and number 15, Neil Harmon. Today's referee is Mr. Haig from Leeds, and his touch judges are Mr. Brown and Mr. Campbell. And John Wood starts the game. And Carl Webb, playing against his former club, transferred to Lee just over a week ago. Peters to Pinner. Brian Dunn. Comes back to Chris Johnson and straight away puts the ball down to David Lyon. Warrington appear to have the wind at their backs in this first half, playing from right to left. And David Lyon takes play to almost to the halfway line. Thursfield, his first touch of the ball onto Kevin Tamati. Tamati takes play into the Lee half. So he's finally tackled by Collier and by Erner. Thursfield to Crompton, Crompton to Woods. Woods short ball to Knight. He's tackled by Harry Pinner and by Steve Peters. Peters playing against one of his former clubs here. Billy McGinty. Tackled by another ex-Warrington player, John Kerr. It goes back to John Woods, and the kick for touch is trapped by McCulloch. McCulloch runs across field. He's half stopped by Gary Sanderson. And finally tackled by John Thursfield. Peters to Pinner. Pinner to Erner. Erner. He's tackled by Humphries and by Thursfield. Loses the ball in the tackle. Play on, says the referee. It's picked up by Collier and 6 more tackles. Webb to Ruane. Ruane, long ball out to Jeffrey. He's well tackled by Paul Cullen. Peters to Brian Dunn. He's tackled by Humphries and by Thursfield. Dunn plays the ball to himself. Again, Thursfield does the tackling with the help of Kevin Tamati. Peters to Cottrell. Cottrell breaks the tackle now. Cottrell takes on Martin Crompton. She's well tackled by Crompton and by David Lyon. 6 tackle to Lee. Webb to Peters. Peters to Pinner. Pinner. Short ball to Ruane. Ruane. But he's well held by Barry Peters. And it's 6 tackle and the turnover to Warrington. Knight up the blind side to Sanderson. Sanderson makes good ground before being tackled by Harry Pinner and by Adrian Erner. Thursfield to Crompton. On to Woods. Woods misses out Tamati to McGinty. McGinty almost evades the tackle of Andy Collier. Cullen. Again, Collier doing the tackling with the help of Steve Peters. Tamati to Woods. Woods on the run around with Crompton. Short ball to Knight. Knight knocks off Pinner. Tries to get the ball away in the tackle. Knock on, says the referee. There'll be a scrum down. First scrum of the afternoon. This will be a test for the Warrington hooker today, John Thursfield. Loose arm against John Thursfield. So the first penalty of the afternoon goes to Lee. And it's Chris Johnson to try and put the ball into this near touchline, which he does safely. Just inside the Warrington 25 now. Carl Webb to restart play. On to Erner. Erner, he's tackled by Humphries and by Thursfield. Webb attacked in half-back. Misses out Collier to Peters. Peters to Pinner. Pinner, dummies, goes on his own. Back inside to Chris Johnson. And John Woods pinches the ball for Warrington, and Woods is away on far side, out to Cullen. Cullen has got Rapati outside him. Finally tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Woods to Crompton. Crompton to Sanderson. Sanderson onto McGinty. Pinner's up quick on McGinty. And Tony Collier and Mark Knight square up to each other. And the penalty being given against Tony Collier. And Warrington gained their first penalty of the afternoon. David Lyons with the kick for touch. Goes in safely on the halfway line. John Woods restarts the game onto Thursfield. Thursfield to Crompton. Woods runs round. Gives it short to Knight. But Knight's well tackled by Andy Collier on the halfway line. Woods to Crompton. Crompton dummies to Sanderson. Beats one man. Good run there from Martin Crompton. Takes play 15 yards inside the Lee half. John Thursfield attacked in half-back. On to John Woods. To Tony Humphries. Humphries. He's tackled by Cottrell. And it's offside. Offside against John Kerr out over here in the right centre. Be a penalty to Warrington. John Woods indicates to Mr. Haig that he'll go for goal. It's John Woods. Penalty attempt, just goes straight between the posts. So we've played 6 minutes of the first half, and the score is Lee 0, Warrington 2. It'll be Chris Johnson to restart the game. It's towards the Warrington try line. It's taken safely by Billy McGinty. McGinty to run the ball out now. He's tackled by Andy Collier on the Warrington 25. Thursfield to Tamati. Tamati straightens play up. It's finally tackled by Harry Pinner and by David Ruane. Thursfield to Sanderson. He's tackled by Brian Dunn. Thursfield onto Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Woods misses out McGinty, out wide to Humphreys. Humphreys still going, Tony Humphreys, but he's finally tackled by Adrian Erner with the help of Andy Collier. John Thursfield dummies and goes on his own from acting half back. Inside to John Woods. Woods now with the break. John Woods. Woods looking for support, but there's nobody there in support with Woods. It's a good ball inside from Thursfield to Woods. Woods has taken play up to the Lee 25. But it's a brilliant tackle by John Kerr on Mark Knight. Caught Knight in possession. It'll be a turnover to Lee. Kerr moved up very quickly and just caught Knight in possession. And Lee back in possession now. Erner. Webb attacked in half-back to Ruane, but it's offside against John Woods. But just as in last Friday's game, the support there for John Woods as he made that break was really nowhere near in sight. The kick goes for touch. Rapati keeps it in play. And it comes to David Lyon now. David Lyon takes play to just inside the Lee half. Warrington back in possession. Tamati to Thursfield. On to Sanderson. Sanderson goes back inside. He's tackled by Pinner, by Collier and by Erner. Thursfield to Woods. Woods misses out Crompton to McGinty. McGinty straightens up. He's well tackled by Andy Collier. Paul Cullen attacked in half-back to Kevin Tamati up the blind side. Tamati drives play up to 10 yards inside the league half. It's finally tackled by Brian Dunn and by John Kerr. Crompton onto McGinty. McGinty straightens up. So he's tackled by Collier. By Cottrell. Woods. Woods with the drop goal attempt. Straight between the posts. And John Woods at in half-back. Just calmly stepped to his right. It's the drop goal attempt. Went straight between the posts. And we've played 9 minutes of the first half, and the score now is Lee 0, Warrington 3. So once again, Chris Johnson restarts the game. Again, he puts it towards the Warrington try line. This time it's taken by Mark Foster. Forster runs across field. Foster finally tries to straighten up, but is tackled by the Lee half-back pair of Steve Peters and David Ruane. Woods, short ball to Sanderson. Sanderson drives the ball just outside of his own 25. Thursfield to Tamati. Tamati drives up that short side, inside to Paul Cullen. Cullen gets it to Crompton. Crompton on to Sanderson. Sanderson tackled by Webb and Erner. Thursfield to Woods. Woods out to Cullen. Cullen short ball to Humphreys. Humphreys tackled by Collier and by Ruane. Paul Cullen attacked in half-back onto John Woods. John Woods with a kick for this near touchline. It goes straight to Chris Johnson though. Johnson straightens play up, but he's well tackled by Billy McGinty and by John Woods. Carl Webb onto Adrian Erner. Erner drives play up, but he's tackled by the second row pairing of Warrington, Gary Sanderson and Mark Knight. Cottrell. Peters attacked in half-back onto Harry Pinner. Pinner back inside to Ruane. Ruane slips the ball away. It's picked up by Brian Dunn. Brian Dunn runs across field. He's well taken by Paul Cullen. Round to Webb. Webb to Erner. Erner stands up in the tackle, gets the ball away now to Round, comes inside, he's finally tackled by David Lyon. 6 tackle to Lee, goes to Steve Peters, on to Pinner, straightens up, Pinner tries to get the ball away to David Ruane couldn't hold on to the pass, and it's picked up by Martin Crompton for Warrington. Woods to McGinty comes back inside, stands up in the tackle, gets it away to Thursfield, on to Woods out to Cullen, down to Rapati comes back inside, but he's taken by Cottrell and by Webb. Knight to Woods on to Tamati, short ball to Sanderson, he's tackled by Erner and by Dunn. Woods to Crompton on to Humphreys goes back inside, he's tackled by Webb and by Brian Dunn. Thursfield attacked in half-back, on to John Woods, back to David Lyon with the kick into the Lee half, it bounces up kindly for Chris Johnson, but he's well tackled by Barry Peters. McCulloch on his own from acting half-back, again Peters doing the tackling with the help of Tony Humphreys. Steve Peters into Adrian Erner, he's tackled by Thursfield, Tamati and Knight, just 10 yards inside the Lee half. Webb to Steve Peters to Pinner, short ball to Dunn. Again the Warrington tackling is sound. Ruane back to Pinner straightens up, gets it to Ruane, on to Webb gets it away to Kerr now. Kerr tries to hand off Peters, but he's tackled by Peters and by John Wood. 6 tackle to Lee. Goes to Ruane with a kick for this near touchline, but Foster's back to cover it and takes it safely now. Mark Forster straightens up, tries to go inside Collier, but he's well tackled by Andy Collier. Lyon comes up the blind side from acting half-back. He's tackled by McCulloch. Crompton to Woods misses out both Knight and Sanderson, on to McGinty straightens up. He's tackled by Dunn and by Steve Peters. Sanderson to Woods, on to Tamati straightens up, gives it to Knight. He's tackled by Cottrell. Tamati back to Woods shapes the kick but gives it to Rapati, and Rapati kicks it into touch on the halfway line. There'll be a scrum down. Warrington head, but Lee to put the ball in. Steve Peters to feed the scrum. It's Mr. Haig not satisfied. So Peters feeds the scrum and comes away with the ball onto Ruane. Short ball to Jeffrey. Jeffrey steps inside, gets it away to Round. He's tackled by David Lyon. Webb to Peters to Pinner misses out Ruane to Brian Dunn still going, gets the ball away to Chris Johnson well tackled by Barry Peters. McCulloch to Ruane, to Peters, to Pinner now to Jeffrey still going, Jeffrey in a run for the corner, gets it inside to Webb, but Webb's just tackled by David Lyon and by Gary Sanderson. Erner to Peters, to Pinner, short ball to Dunn still going, Dunn in a run for the line, Brian Dunn scores under the post. Brian Dunn broke through the tackle of Gary Sanderson and Martin Crompton. Kevin Tamati tried in vain to catch him, but Dunn was under the post for the first try of the afternoon. The ball was initially worked left by Lee. Ian Jeffrey made the break on the left, He managed to pass the ball inside to Carl Webb. Carl Webb was dragged down just by Billy McGinty and by David Lyon, but from the play of the ball came across. It went to Peters, on to Pinner. Pinner gave the short ball to Dunn. Dunn broke through the tackle, went under by the post to give Chris Johnson what should be an easy conversion. Chris Johnson puts the ball safely between the posts, and we've played just 17 minutes of the first half. The score now is Warrington 3, Leigh 6. So John Woods to restart the game. Kicks it deep. It's taken safely by John Kerr. He's tackled comfortably by Billy McGinty. Dunn onto Webb. He's tackled by Sanderson and by Peters. Steve Peters attacked in half-back. Into Adrian Erner. Again, Sanderson and Barry Peters doing the tackling. It goes left to Pinner. Pinner inside to Ruane now. Ruane sidesteps Crompton, but again, Barry Peters brilliantly doing the tackling there. Covering across. Webb switches play to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson makes a break to just inside the Warrington half. Webb to Ruane. Ruane to Peters. On to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Cottrell. Cottrell to Kerr. The pass looked forward, but Brian Dunn still going. The pass looked very forward there from Cottrell to John Kerr. It's a 6th tackle to Leigh. Goes to Steve Peters, on to Pinner. Pinner, long ball out to Jeffrey. Jeffrey steps inside Crompton. He's finally tackled by Paul Cullen and by John Wood. And it's the 6th tackle and the turnover to Warrington. Cullen sends it up the blind side to John Thursfield. Sanderson to Crompton. Crompton short ball to Knight. But Knight is driven back by Steve Peters, by Carl Webb and by Andy Collier. Woods to Tamati. But Tamati is well tackled by Steve Peters once again. Harry Pinner and by Brian Dunn. McGinty goes to Woods. On to Humphreys. Humphreys to gain the lead defence, standing up to anything that Warrington can throw at them. Woods comes back to David Lyon. Lyon puts the kick down for this near touchline. McCulloch races back. Traps it with his foot and takes it safely. McCulloch dummies to Johnson, but he's well tackled by Mark Foster. Chris Johnson on his own from acting half-back. He's tackled by Foster, by Peters and by Knight. McCulloch on his own from acting half-back. Again, Knight doing the tackling with the help of Billy McGinty. Peters inside to Erner. Peters to Cottrell. Cottrell straightens up, but he's well tackled by Tony Humphreys and by Gary Sanderson. 6th tackle to Leigh. Comes to David Ruane. But his kick goes straight into touch, so it'll be a turnover to Warrington. Midway inside the Leigh half. It'll be John Woods to play the ball. Thursfield onto Tamati. Tamati straightens up. He's tackled by Erner and by Peters. Thursfield to Crompton. Crompton to Woods. Short ball to Knight. He's tackled by Carl Webb. Thursfield to Woods. Woods. Short ball to Humphreys, but Humphreys can't hold on to it. Webb covers and gives it to Johnson. Johnson evades the tackle of Humphreys. Johnson still going. And he's finally brought down by John Thursfield. Kerr to Erner. Erner runs at Peters and McGinty. He's tackled by them with the help of Thursfield. Webb to Peters. to Pinner. Pinner misses out Cottrell to Dunn. Dunn down the middle of the field. He's just caught by John Woods and by Tony Humphries. Peters to Pinner once again. Pinner gets the ball away to Ruane. Ruane runs across field, sends it back inside to Cottrell. Cottrell, he runs across field, straightens up, stands up in the tackle, gets the ball away to Chris Johnson. Johnson now. He's tackled by the Warrington props, Humphries and Tamati. Plays it to himself, Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson still going, Johnson still going. Finally brought down by Martin Crompton. Ruane, 6 tackle to Lee. Steve Peters, short ball to Pinner. Pinner throws out a long ball to McCulloch, goes inside Foster, gets the ball away to Kerr. The ball's still going to Pinner. Pinner to Webb. Webb straightens up. Webb's tackled in possession, so once again it'll be the turnover to Warrington. And at the moment, Lee are really playing as though their lives depend on it. Woods to McGinty, on to Sanderson. Sanderson breaks one tackle. Finally brought down by Ruane and by Collier. Knight to McGinty. McGinty drives play up. He's finally tackled by Adrian Erner. Cullen to Knight, to Crompton, to Woods, to Humphries. Slips the ball away to Woods, but he's well tackled by Carl Webb. And there's no let up in the action whatsoever at the moment. Crompton to Tamati. Tamati, long ball to Peters. But Peters is well tackled by McCulloch and by Kerr. Sanderson to Crompton. Crompton with the chip over. It's taken by Steve Peters. Play on, says the referee. Peters straightens up, runs at John Woods. And he's tackled by Woods with the help of Mark Knight. Carl Webb to Harry Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Collier. Collier's tackled by Thursfield and by McGinty. Chris Johnson at Acton halfback. To Erner. Erner's tackled by Sanderson and by John Thursfield once again. Webb to Peters. Peters on the run around with Pinner. He dummies. He gives it back inside to Cottrell. Cottrell stands up in the tackle. It's it back to Webb. On to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Dunn. This time Dunn's tackled by Humphries and Crompton. Ruane. On to Pinner. Pinner steps inside the tackle, gets it away to Peters. Peters on to Kerr. Kerr inside to McCulloch. McCulloch straightens up. He's tackled by Lyons. Once again, the 6th tackle to Lee. Webb to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson. Drop goal attempt, but it drops short. And it's picked up by Kevin Tamati. He's tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Really, if Lee had assessed the situation there, they would have noticed that David Lyon had done the tackling. There was no full back for Warrington. As it was, the drop goal attempt came in there from Chris Johnson. And Thursfield attacked in halfback, hands on to Humphries. Humphries is tackled by Erner and by Peters. Thursfield to Woods, to Knight. Knight straightens up. He's tackled by Cottrell, Peters and by Dunn. Wood to McGinty. McGinty tries the chip over the top and it's charged down and taken by Andy Collier and the referee waves play on. So Lee back in possession once again. Ruane to Peters, to Dunn. Dunn straightens up, goes back inside. He's tackled by Knight. Webb out to Pinner. Pinner straightens up, gets it back inside to Carl Webb. Webb gets it away to Ruane. Ruane comes back inside before finally being tackled by Tamati. Erner to Peters. Peters out to Kerr. Kerr still going. Once he's finally tackled by Cullen and by Thursfield. Jeffrey on his own from Acton halfback. Dummies. And he's tackled by Cullen and by Rapati. Once again, 6th tackle to Lee. Carl Webb attacked in halfback. It goes to Pinner. Pinner with the chip over the top and following it up, and it's punched dead there by David Lyons as Harry Pinner followed up his own chip there. And really at the moment, Lee have got Warrington under a tremendous amount of pressure as John Woods restarts the game under his own post. Kicks it to Chris Johnson on the halfway line, takes it safely. Johnson Johnson still going. He's finally tackled by Barry Peters and by Martin Crompton. John Kerr attacked in half-back onto Steve Peters. Short ball to Erner. Erner's tackled by Tony Humphries just outside the Warrington 25. Peters, short ball to Webb. Webb runs straight at John Thursfield. He's tackled by him with the help of Kevin Tamati. Peters to Pinner. Pinner back inside to Cottrell. Cottrell stands up in the tackle, gets it away to Pinner. Pinner comes back the other way, gets the ball away to Peters. Peters chips it through. It's taken by David Lyons safely. And Steve Peters follows up his own kick and does the tackling. John Woods onto John Thursfield, but he's tackled by John Kerr. Sanderson on his own from Attin halfback. He's tackled by Steve Peters and by Carl Webb. John Thursfield onto Tony Humphries. And Lee at the moment keeping Warrington pinned deep inside their own 25. John Woods onto Tamati, but Tamati's well tackled by Collier and by Pinner. And Warrington are going nowhere at the moment. McGinty on his own from Attin halfback. Again, the lead tackling strong, and it's the sixth tackle to Warrington. Tamati back to Lyons. Lyons puts the kick towards this near touchline. It bounces once, twice. Taken on the third bounce by McCulloch, just inside his own half. He runs across field, straightens up, takes play back into the Warrington half of the field. Chris Johnson. Johnson onto Round. He's tackled by McGinty. Round plays the ball to himself. Round still going, steps outside Cullen, still going. Mike Round. Jeffrey to Kerr, to Peters, to Pinner. Pinner, short ball to Dunn. Dunn straightens up, Dunn still going. Finally tackled by John Woods. And all the play at the moment coming from Lee, as Warrington are having to defend desperately. Pinner goes across field. Short ball to Peters. Peters with just a full back to beat. See, Peters goes round David Lyon, puts the ball down for the try. The Warrington defence really just stood off Harry Pinner. They stood up, watched Pinner stand there with the ball. Pinner had time to weigh up his options. He put Steve Peters through the gap. Peters just had the full back to beat. He decided to try and take David Lyon on. He went first to the right, sidestepped back the other way and ran round David Lyons to score to just to the left of the post. And that try really has come from a tremendous amount of pressure that they have applied in the past 10 minutes. Warrington have had nothing else to do but defend. And it really looked as though just a matter of time before Lee broke the Warrington defence and scored once again. And Chris Johnson with the conversion attempt. Puts it safely between the posts, and we're right on the half hour of the first half. And the score now is Lee 12, Warrington 3. And it's John Woods who will restart the game. Again, he puts the ball deep. And it's taken safely by Chris Johnson. Johnson now straightens up. And he's finally tackled by John Thursfield. Webb onto Erner. Erner straightens up. Again, Thursfield doing the tackling, this time with the help of Mark Knight and Gary Sanderson. Webb, done Mr. Peters, gives it the other way to Cottrell. Cottrell comes back again. Tries to get the ball away to Adrian Erner, who loses the ball, and it's taken by John Thursfield. Woods to McGinty, to Crompton. Crompton comes back inside. So he's well tackled by Harry Pinner and by Carl Webb. McGinty, dummies, tries to go on his own from Attin halfback. Makes about 5 yards before being tackled by Brian Dunn. Crompton to Woods. Woods, short ball to Knight. Knight's tackled by Peters and by Erner. Woods runs around Sanderson. Short ball to Humphreys. But he's well tackled by Andy Collier, and it's the 6th tackle to Warrington. Humphreys plays the ball to himself. Thursfield onto Crompton. Tamati straightens up. Tamati still going. It's tackled by Peters and by Dunn. It's the 6th tackle and the turnover to Lee. And Warrington at the moment just seeming to be totally devoid of ideas in attack when they have the ball in possession. Pinner, dummies, straightens up. He's tackled by Sanderson and by Humphreys. Peters switches play to Collier. He's well tackled by Gary Sanderson. Again, Peters attacked in half-back. Onto Erner. Erner straightens up. Again, Sanderson doing the tackling, this time with the help of Thursfield. Peters, short ball to Cottrell. Cottrell straightens up. Again, Sanderson doing the tackling. Webb gives it to Pinner. Pinner to Ruane. Ruane, short ball to Jeffrey. And it's picked up by Tamati. Tamati gets the ball away to Rapati. But he's tackled by Jeffrey. McGinty again goes on his own from acting half-back. Takes play to just inside the Lee half. Thursfield to Crompton. Crompton onto Woods. Woods misses out Humphreys onto Knight. But the Lee cover is up very quickly. Knight was well tackled by Collier and by Kerr. Woods to Sanderson. Sanderson really had no room in which to move then. Woods runs around with Crompton. It's the ball out to Cullen. Cullen out to Rapati now. Rapati with some room in which to run. But he's well covered by Jeffrey and by Round. Cullen to Woods. Woods with the kick. It's taken safely by Chris Johnson. Johnson runs around Foster, gets the ball out to McCulloch. McCulloch dummies to Kerr, comes inside. McCulloch still going now, McCulloch. McCulloch slips just before he comes to the full back. But a good break there from Neil McCulloch. It's John Kerr now, long ball to Pinner. Pinner onto Dunn. Dunn straightens up now, Dunn still going, gets the ball onto Webb. But Webb's tackled by McGinty and play's been taken to inside the Warrington 25. Peters to Ruane, to Pinner. Pinner inside to Cottrell. Cottrell back to Pinner. Pinner runs across field, short ball to Dunn. Dunn gets it out to Round. Round back inside to Jeffrey. Jeffrey going for the line. He's just tackled by David Lyon and by Paul Cullen. Again, Warrington, desperate defence. Peters up the short side to Chris Johnson. He's well tackled by Billy McGinty. Johnson plays it to himself and goes already. On the short side there, some appalling cover there from the Warrington defence. Johnson was tackled. He stood up, he played the ball to himself and crashed over in the far corner. And Warrington at the moment just have no answer to these Lee attacks. And Lee at the moment just seeming to carve open the Warrington defence at will. So Chris Johnson now attempting to convert his own try. It's the most difficult of his 3 kicks so far. And it hits the post and just bounces out onto the far side. So we've played 35 minutes of the first half now. The score is Warrington 3, Lee 16, Warrington 3. And Warrington just don't seem to have any idea at the moment of, firstly, how to cope with the Lee attacks, but secondly, what to do when they have the ball themselves. Woods, again, kicks the ball deep. McCulloch traps it with his foot, picks it up safely. runs across field, finally straightens up before being tackled by Thursfield and by Sanderson. Kerr goes on his own from acting half-back. John Kerr, another ex-Warrington player. To Carl Webb. Carl Webb hands it on to Erner. Erner takes play to just outside his 25 before being tackled by Billy McGinty. Peters switches it to Brian Dunn. Brian Dunn straightens up, tries to get the ball away to Ruane. Went backwards, says the referee, on to Chris Johnson. Johnson's finally tackled by Barry Peters. Steve Peters on to Adrian Erner. Erner drives play up before being tackled by Sanderson by Knight. 6 tackle to Lee. Webb goes on his own from acting half-back. Puts the kick in over the top and follows his own kick. It's taken by Mark Foster. Foster runs around Webb, straightens up. Foster still going. Foster still going. Foster straightens up now. He's finally tackled by Ian Jeffrey. Just 10 yards inside the Lee half. Cullen up the blind side to Tamati. Tamati inside to Rapati. But he's well tackled by Cottrell, by Round and by Jeffrey. Thursfield onto Crompton. Crompton misses out Humphreys to Woods. Woods onto Knight. Knight straightens up. He's tackled by Webb, by Ruane and by Collier. McGinty. Thursfield attacked in half-back onto Crompton. Crompton to Humphreys. Humphreys takes play up. He's tackled by the 2 Lee props, Tony Cottrell and Adrian Erner. And it's the 6th tackle to Warrington. It comes back to John Woods. Woods puts in the up and under. It's taken safely by John Kerr. Well taken by Johnny Kerr. And the pressure from Billy McGinty. Chris Johnson dummies and goes on his own from acting half-back. Peters to Pinner. Pinner onto Dunn. Dunn through the gap. Straightens up. Still going. Brian Dunn onto David Ruane. He's finally tackled there by David Lyons. Peters out to Pinner. Pinner comes back the other way. Still going. Harry Pinner switches it once again to Cottrell. Cottrell runs across field. Finally straightens up. He's finally tackled by Sanderson, Lyons and Crompton. As we come up to the final minute of the first half, Peters dummies, gets it back inside to Brian Dunn. So he's tackled by Gary Sanderson. 6 tackle to Lee. Comes back to Johnny Kerr. Kerr chips it over the top as it's taken safely by David Lyon. Hands on to Joe Rapati now. Rapati down that right wing. Rapati still going. Finally brought down by John Kerr. And the referee